Any of our own power line work, we get contractors to come in to do the initial install. But in the middle of the night, if a line snaps or an insulator cracks or something, I'm the guy that fixes it.
Are you filming, Quinn?
Yep.
Yeah. Why did you choose this career?
Because I didn't want to be a laborer all my life, and it was probably the easiest thing to do without spending 4 years steady in university or college.
Do you guys know anything about electricity?
No. Nope.
DC is a battery.
Okay.
That your power looks like a straight line. It never fluctuates. Your AC power is a sine wave. If you've taken trigonometry or anything like that, phasors, vectors, that's all related to our three-phase power.
There are 4 different computers on this truck. We have one that's called a PSC, which is a propel system control. So you don't drive the truck, you propel the truck. And then we have another computer that's called the TCI. It's our truck control interface. So the truck control interface basically takes signals from the engine, relays them to my PSC computer, and then my PSC computer does calculations and it maintains proper control of the truck. In certain cases, if we lose feedbacks, we could have an extreme overcurrent. We could literally blow the whole truck right up.
How long is your work week and what kinds of shifts do you work?
We work a 4 on 4 off schedule here, rotating graveyards, so every second shift I do is a graveyard shift, and we work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
How physically demanding is the job, and what is the most challenging, unusual aspects of the job?
It can be physically demanding. I mean, the cable that we use, you just imagine that's a lot of rubber and a lot of solid copper, so it's, you know, it's heavy. Lots of help, and just, I mean, be careful, don't overdo yourself. And what was the other part? Physically demanding or?
And most challenging aspects of the job?
Well, the weather here is quite a challenge, and electricity is a bigger challenge. We try to control it, but it still basically does what it wants to do if our controls fail. So it's you know, chasing breakdowns, trying to keep the power controlled, and keeping everything in one piece.
What is the salary range for a tradesperson in your trade?
You can make 90,000 a year, 95,000 a year, anywhere up to, well, it depends on overtime. You could make 150, 160,000 a year.
Are there any unique safety issues related to your job?
Oh, there are a ton of safety issues. There's a lot of big equipment out there. The haul trucks, I mean, on his right-hand side, he can't see a vehicle for 150 feet. So, you know, you stay out of their way, but like I was saying earlier, you get down where we were with the shovels and it gets busy. You've got haul trucks coming and going, you've got a grader, you've got a dozer or two. There's a lot of things happening at once. And, you know, that's just the equipment. Then it's the power issues and, you know, the high voltage, because it does pretty much what it wants to do anyways. We do our best, but you still have to have a lot of respect for it.
What do you like best and least of your job, and why?
The things I like best, well, here anyways, is everything is big. It's all huge. It's, you know, it's impressive. It's, you know, I still ooh and awe at the size of the equipment. The weather is, it can get to a person. It's hard to stay chipper and be excited by your job when you're up to your knees in mud or snow, or, you know, it's, some days are just difficult weather-wise, and it's heavy industry. Things break, you know, that's just part of it.
How difficult is it to obtain your job?
I think anybody could have a job like I have. I didn't have a problem. I started commissioning here in 2004, and then they offered me a maintenance position in the fall when commissioning was done and the mine was ready to start production. So it was fairly easy, and you know, I've been an electrician for a number of years and I've never had a problem.
Okay. What are the special advantages of this occupation?
I can go anywhere in the world. Everybody uses power and extension cords, and yeah, I mean it's worldwide. So it's not even strictly mining. You can go into a number of different.
What are the advancement opportunities?
I suppose they're almost limitless. My boss got his apprenticeship here, and he is now our superintendent of maintenance. So he's gone up through the ranks from 1972, and you know, he's 52 years old today, and he runs the whole maintenance department.
What are the benefits of working in your trade in the mining sector?
As far as electrical goes, well, it is a challenge. It's a lot of the technology that we use is still quite old school. Like I was telling you guys about the DC motors and stuff. We're getting more into the AC now, but
To power lines. We have this power line on our left, but because that's a 25,000 volt power line, which means our secondary voltage, which would be what we'd operate the equipment with, would be 7,200 volts. We're not prepared to run this at 7,200 volts yet, so we're running it at 4,160, and that's the output of that generator there. This is our main disconnect switch, so if we ever have to get into any of the high voltage stuff, we have to isolate here, and basically that removes power from the whole drill. All come in here. Our main program is held in the processor here, and it takes those bits and bytes, does its own calculations, and makes the drill function. So this is where I'll spend most of my time.
You ever get electrocuted or anything?
I've gotten the odd shock. Not here. I've never had a shock here. But,
Does it hurt?
it's more surprising than anything, and embarrassing if somebody's standing there watching you. But.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school at College of New Caledonia in Prince George.
How much did your schooling cost?
At the time I went to school, between the government and the employer, all I had to pay for was textbooks and pens and pencils, calculator, whatever, but tuition was paid for. Because I was employed, I could collect EI while I went to school.
How is your daily routine?
Well, I usually, I do start out doing checks, usually. I have basically a tour that I do, I call it. I do drive-by inspections of substations, switch houses, visually inspect power lines, and it usually doesn't take long before the radio starts getting noisy and things start breaking down, and then you just swing into maintaining the equipment rather than looking for something to maintain.
How do you maintain a balance between your work life and your personal life?
I don't take work home. You have to maintain a balance like that. You need your home life, and you know, it's pretty important that work stays at the gate and your home stays at the gate too. Otherwise, you confuse the two, and it creates a lot of problems, and it's stressful up at times. Like I said, it's production. We need to move so much rock, and if we're not moving the rock, we better be fixing something.
What are the advancement opportunities?
I suppose they're almost limitless. My boss got his apprenticeship here, and he is now our superintendent of maintenance.
What is the demand for tradespeople in your trade?
Extreme. It is huge. We can't find enough electricians.
Baby's got blue eyes and she's wanting to stay, but I am running out of time with nothing to say. So it's that kind of night when the